Hello, my friends, and welcome to Crimes with Cole. So, hello. How are you guys doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope you've had a great week this far, and I hope that you guys all are preparing for the weekend to do a whole lot of nothing or a whole bunch of something. Either way, just remember to always be safe. In today's case, this case is extremely frustrating, and I think you'll see why once we get through it. But I just had to ask, how do you not know? How is it that no one has figured this case out? It just doesn't make sense. But let's get into this case. This case is the case of Rachel Mellon Skemp. Rachel was born as Rachel Marie Skemp on October 13th, 1982, to her mother and father, Jeff and Amy, in Melrose Park, Illinois. She was said to be such a positive, happy, go-lucky little girl. And when she was 3, her parents divorced. Her father, Jeff, ended up moving to Texas. So she stayed with her mother, Amy, in Illinois. Now, her mother soon started dating a man named Vincent Mellon. And Amy and Vincent eventually married and had 2 more children, Jason in 1988 and Ashley in 1990. And the 5 of them lived in a wonderful home about 30 miles outside of Chicago. Growing up, Rachel was said to still be the happy little girl she had always been. Her friends would say she was like the life of the party. Everyone wanted to be friends with Rachel. She was just kind and sweet and a great time to be around. In 1990, Amy and Vincent had gotten into a fight. Amy ended up getting a restraining order against Vincent for hitting her and shoving her down the stairs, and also for verbally threatening Rachel. So I wonder how the relationship between Rachel and Vincent truly was, and if he accepted her wholeheartedly as his daughter or kept her in that stepdaughter zone and made it clear that they were a blended family, if you guys get what I mean. I know some people out there blend their families so well that you would never know the difference, and then others blend them as well as like oil and water will blend, and it's slightly, extremely obvious to those on the outside looking in. Like, they just make it very clear that they're step, I'm step, that's step, they're not step. You know, they just always keep that invisible barrier up. Nothing wrong with that, but I know some people are on this side, others are on this side. So I wonder where Rachel and Vincent fell on that spectrum. But nonetheless, Amy and Vincent worked things out and the restraining order was dropped. Now, 5 years later, in 1995, Rachel had ran away from home. She's 13 years old at this time. She ran away, leaving a note saying she was scared that she would get in trouble for something her little brother or little sister did. And she ended up sleeping outside of her friend's house that night. That next morning, she called Vincent's mom and dad, so her step-grandparents, and they came and got her, taking her back home. Now, on January 31st of 1996, Rachel had stayed home from school because she was sick that day. She called her grandmother so her dad's mom, around 10:45 a.m. and talked to her on the phone for about 5 minutes to thank her for a card that she had sent her. She got off the phone quickly as she said she had to go. And according to Vincent, they played Nintendo at around 2:30 p.m. He took the family dog for a walk, and Rachel went to take a nap while he was doing that. Now, at this time, Vincent was unemployed, so that's why he's home. Rachel's 14 years old. Jason, her little brother, is about 8 years old, and her little sister, Ashley, is 6 years old. So they're at school. Her mom is at work because somebody's got to pay the bills. And Rachel and Vincent are home during her disappearance. But Vincent claims he was walking the dog around 2:30 p.m. on a cold winter day. It was 20 degrees outside, and he was going on a 30-minute walk, and the dog just so happens to get out of his collar on that day and took off in a field near the house, right? Vincent said he went back home because he just assumed the dog would find his way back home. And while this is true, being a dog owner myself, that is my first thought. However, it's not about them not coming back home, but rather what is going to prevent them from coming back home, right? But, Vincent just said the hell with it and went back home. Now, this is around 3 p.m., okay? Ashley got home from school at like 3:15 and went to find her sister, and she was nowhere to be found. So she told her dad how she couldn't find Rachel. And instead of Vincent going to look in Rachel's room or even just holler for her, he dismissed Ashley's concerns, and nothing was done until her mom and Jason got home later that night around 5 p.m. Now, once Rachel's mom got home, she was the one to call the police and report the girl missing. And while Vincent continues his story of walking the dog, none of the neighbors saw him walking the dog. However, the dog did get out and was, or could have been purposely let out, because a real estate agent who had lived in the area found the dog and returned him back to the Mellon residence around 4:30 to 5 p.m. When the police searched Rachel's room, they noticed that the 2 pillows and blanket that Vincent swore Rachel was sleeping with was gone, and an extensive search was done of the surrounding area, and Rachel was nowhere to be found. Her friends did say, however, that the day before she went missing, that they noticed Rachel crying at her lockers and asked her what was wrong. And she simply said it was something she could take care of herself. And her friends didn't continue to push the subject. Looking back, I am sure her friends at the time wished they would have pried a little bit more and, possibly found out if Rachel was or if Rachel was keeping a secret that was involved in why she disappeared. When the police searched Rachel's room, they discovered her diary. And inside her diary lied information about how her stepfather, Vincent, tried to make moves on her, tried to kiss her and touch her in a manner that no adult should be doing to a child. They also discovered a book called Daddy's Kisses, and a steak knife hidden under her bed. Now, the book Daddy's Kisses is an animated children's book, something you would give to a new dad, the same way you would give a new mom a book. It's nothing inappropriate, but the intended message that may have came with the book in this particular situation would make it inappropriate, if you're following along and you get it. The police suspected Vincent had something to do with Rachel's disappearance, and in 2000 got a warrant for his DNA. And after 9 hours of questioning, he was never charged, although he initially failed his polygraph test about Rachel's whereabouts. Rachel's mother moved away to Tennessee, and her father kept searching for her years and years and years later. Now, no other person has been brought to being a suspect in this case. And years later, Rachel's mother ended up moving away to Tennessee, and her father, who lived in Texas at the time, he still kept searching for her, hired private investigators, and just kept searching for years and years and years. And he even kept the same landline for all those years, just in case Rachel needed to call him. And he made a website in hopes to finding her. It wasn't until recently that he admitted that he has come to peace with knowing that Rachel probably isn't alive any longer, which would be a very hard pill to swallow. There has not been any arrest in this case, although everyone's pointing fingers to Vincent because of Rachel's diary entries about how inappropriate he was towards her. Also, probably because he failed the polygraph test about her whereabouts. He was the last one to see her alive. I think the list is endless on the reasons why people are pointing their fingers towards Vincent. Now, the police and investigators claim this is still an active case, and the evidence is being preserved a special way annually, so that when new technology is created, that the evidence can be tested, and hopefully they can find out who took Rachel and where Rachel is. Now, this has been 25 years. It has been 25 years since Rachel disappeared. There still hasn't been any sort of match to any of the evidence. No hits, no leads, nothing. And I personally find it very frustrating because it's so obvious who it is. I don't know how the police did not push and push and push, because I just don't understand how Vincent wasn't, let's just say it, let's just call it how it is, how Vincent wasn't the one who did it. Isn't it very strange how he took the dog on a walk and no one saw him walking the dog for 30 minutes in 20-degree weather? I don't even think dedicated dog walkers walk their dog in 20-degree weather for 30 minutes. That's cold. It's cold. Or the simple fact that you were the last one to see her, and then you failed your polygraph test about where she was. Or the fact that when Ashley came home and you didn't even go check on her. I don't know. Something doesn't add up with him and his storytelling. It doesn't add up. And how the police just accept that is beyond me. I'm not sure. I am not sure, guys. But what do you guys think? Do you think Vincent did it? And I also have to question how thorough the police were in their search of Rachel's house. Because if anybody else had that same story that Vincent had, they would be going to prison, you know? But what do you guys think? Let me know. And until next time, please remember to be safe. And I will see you then. Bye.